Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kuli and today I'll be showing you how to crochet this little cute baby top. This top is for a size 0 to 3 months baby. And this is part 1 of a 2-piece. You can check out part 2 for the overalls in the description box below. Okay, for the heart, I have a heart tutorial on my channel, but that heart that I made in that video is quite big for this top. So I'm going to show you again how to make a smaller size or the perfect size for this top in this video. Okay, so we'll be needing 100% acrylic yarn, DK. I used 50 grams of this yarn, 5mm hook to crochet everything, 2.5mm hook to weave in all the ends, scissors, yarn needle, stitch markers. You can even just use extra pieces of yarn that you have laying around. Also, you'll need a sample top to measure your top against, okay, so that you can get the perfect fit for your baby. I will leave all the details in the description box below. Please remember to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and remember to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, I hope you enjoy this video. So yeah, let's begin. To begin, we start with a slip knot, and then we chain 56 plus 1. The extra chain we are going to make is just for turning, or you can make a chain that is long enough to fit around the waist of your baby. Okay, so I'm going to make 28 for the front and 28 for the back. That's 56. To make a chain, you yarn over and you pull through. Yarn over, pull through. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll continue to do that until I have chained 56. I have chained 56. So now we are going to block off the last chain and make an extra chain for turning. All right, now we are going to begin with row 1. For row 1, we are going to have double crochets across the whole row. We are going to start with our first double crochet in the second chain from the hook. So that's 1 and then 2. We don't count the one on the hook. So to make a double crochet, we yarn over, insert our hook in the second chain from the hook. You pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over again, pull through the first 2. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again and then pull through the last 2. Now we have made our first double crochet. Two, 3. So we are going to make 1 double crochet in every chain stitch across until we reach the end here. So we are going to meet at the end here. I've reached the end of row 1. So at the end here we chain 1, then we turn our work. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch, it's just a turning chain. So for row 2 we are still going to make double crochets across the whole row. Okay, at the end of row 1 my stitch count is at 56. Your stitch count actually depends on the number of chains you made in your foundation chain. So to begin our row 2, we are going to start with our first double crochet in the very same stitch where we made our chain 1. And then we continue to make 1 double crochet in every stitch across. So I will meet you back here at the end of row 2. I have reached the end of row 2. I'm just going to make my last double crochet in that very last stitch there. Always try by all means to find that stitch because sometimes it's difficult to see. But We cannot miss it because we need to keep our work straight. Okay, before we continue with row 3, let's mark off our right side. Just use your stitch marker to mark off your right side. I'm just going to be using this piece of yarn that I have laying around. So to begin row 3, we are going to chain 1 at the end of row 2 and then return our work. For row 3, we are going to still make 1 double crochet in every stitch across the whole row. Okay, so we'll do the same thing. We'll repeat the same pattern until we have 14 rows in total, or you can, the number of rows depends on your sample t-shirt. Just make sure that your number of rows reaches right underneath the sleeves here, from the waist to the sleeves, to right underneath the sleeves. Okay, so your number of rows should be able to cover this whole area. So I'll be making 14 rows. Again, make your first double crochet in the very same stitch you made your chain 1. Then continue to make double crochets across the whole row, 1 double crochet in every stitch. Once you reach the end, you chain 1 and then you turn your work. So I'll meet you back here once I've finished all my 14 rows of double crochets. I've reached the end of row 14. So I'm just going to chain 1 here and leave a long tail that I'm going to use to join the two sides together. Okay, just make sure that your tail is long enough to join the 2 sides together. So I'm just going to cut off here. So now we're going to join the 2 sides together. Take your yarn needle and make sure that your right sides are facing each other and your wrong sides are facing out. That's the reason why we needed to to mark off our right side earlier. Make sure that your right sides are facing each other because we are going to turn our work inside out later. So guys, please remember to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification below so that you don't miss out on any of my videos. And just to show some love and support so that we can keep these videos coming. All right. You can just join the 2 sides however you like. Once you've done that, just cut off your yarn and leave a tail that is long enough to weave in later. Okay, so now we can turn our work inside out. As you can see, this is our right side with our stitch marker there. So this part that we just joined together will be the back side of our top. Okay, so we are done with the main part of the top. So now we are going to begin with the sleeves. To make the sleeve, we are going to chain 22. Start with a slip knot. Then we chain 22 plus 1. Just make sure that your chain is long enough to reach from one end of the sleeve all the way around to the other end. Okay, so from one end around to the other end. Okay, so I'll be chaining 22 plus 1. Right now I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So I'll add the extra one for turning. So for row 1, we are going to make half double crochets across the whole row. So we yarn over, insert our hook in the second chain from the hook. We pull through. Now we have 3 loops on the hook, and then yarn over and then pull through all 3 loops. So we've made our first half double crochet. So we will continue to make half double crochets for the whole of row 1. So I'll meet you at the end of row 1. I'm now at the end of row 1. So to begin row 2, we are going to chain 1 at the end of row 1 and turn our work. For row 2, we are going to do the same thing. We make half double crochets across the whole row. So we are going to begin our first half double crochet in the very same stitch we made our chain 1. And then we continue to make half double crochets across. So 1 half double crochet in every stitch. So we will do the same thing until we have 4 rows in total. Okay, so we are going to make half double crochets. At the end of each row, you chain 1 and turn your work until we have a total of 4 rows. So I'll meet you back here at the end of the 4th row. I'm now at the end of row 4. So I'm just going to mark off my right side here. And then you take your main part of the top, you measure your sleeve to see if it looks okay for you. Put it at the very end here because we want our ruffles to begin at the edges. Okay, so our ruffles will be somewhere here. So just make sure that it looks okay for you. If you want to add more rows, you can do that so it comes more inside like this, towards the inside. But I'm gonna leave mine at 4 rows. So let's continue with row 5, and then we are going to start making the ruffles. So let's chain 1 at the end of row 4. Now we are beginning to make the ruffles. For row 5, we are going to make 2 half double crochets in every stitch across. So 2 half double crochets together in every single stitch across. Okay, so that's one half double crochet and then another half double crochet in the very same stitch. So we keep repeating the same pattern up to the end of the row. Okay, I'll meet you at the end of row 5. I've reached the end of row 5, so we should have something like this, like a curve. So we chain 1 and then we turn our work. For row 6, we are going to start with 1 half double crochet in the very same stitch that we made our chain 1. And then for the next 2 stitches, we are going to put 2 half double crochets together for the next 2 stitches. Okay, so 1 and 2 in the very same stitch, and then again 1 and 2 in the very same stitch, and then 1 half double crochet in the following stitch, and then again 2 half double crochets in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, again 1, 2, and then we make 1 half double crochet in the next stitch, and then again 2 half double crochets together in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, again 1, 2, and then we make 1 half double crochet in the following stitch. So we keep repeating the same pattern until the end of the row. One, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So just keep doing the same thing. As you can see, our ruffles are already starting to form. Keep repeating the same pattern until the end of the row. So I'll meet you back here at the end of the row. At the end of the row, there should be 1 stitch left. So just go ahead and make 1 half double crochet in there. So now we chain 1 and turn our work. For the next row, we make 1 half double crochet in every stitch. Okay, so 1 half double crochet in each and every single stitch across. So just go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back here at the end of the row. We are now done with the final row. You can always add more rows if you prefer. So here we are going to chain 1, and then we leave a long tail to join this part together. Okay, so this is what we have so far. This is our right side. As you can see, our stitch marker is there. So when we are joining the two sides, we have to turn it inside like that, and then take your yarn needle, then you start joining. Don't do it too tightly. Okay, so now just cut off your yarn and leave a tail that is long enough to weave in later. Turn your work. This is what we have. Okay, this part is joined together. Make sure you don't join these two together. So now take your main part, and start joining these two ends, this part to the front part like so, and then the back side to the back side like so. So you should have something like this for the sleeves. So you just join along this whole part here. Okay, so when you start to join, just make sure that your tail is hanging inside. Okay, so you keep your work neat, and then you take your needle, you insert it in the back loop, you pull through like so. Don't pull through all the way. Make sure you leave some tail hanging there, and then you bring your needle to the other side of the sleeve, and then you bring it through the same loop, so now you just continue to join. But do it in the back loop. Once again, please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And don't forget to hit the notification bell down below, just in case you want to be the first to be notified every time I upload a new video. Just make sure that your sleeve is securely attached to the main part of the top as you go. And once again, just make sure that your tail is hanging from the inside. Okay, and then you cut the yarn some way. Leave a tail that is long enough for weaving in later. So this is what we have so far. So just go ahead and do the same for the other side. And we'll meet back here to show you what to do next. Okay, so this is what we have so far. So our back side. Just weave in all your ends and remove the stitch markers. So now we are going to make a tiny heart like this one. Okay, as I've mentioned earlier, I have a heart tutorial on my channel, but that heart is quite big because it measures 10 centimeters by 9. Okay, so we are going to make this one. Is actually the perfect size for this top. So if you don't want to make the heart, you can just end the video here. But for those of you who want to know how to make the heart, please continue watching. Okay, so to make the heart, we take our 5mm hook, make a slip knot, then you chain 2, 1, 2. Now we are going to make 1 single crochet in the second stitch, in the second chain from the hook. Okay, so 1, 2. Alright, so now we chain 1 and turn our work. Now we are going to make 3 single crochets in that 1 stitch. 1, 2, 3. Right, so we chain 1 and turn our work. Our stitch count at this point should be 3. I don't know if you can see with the black, but 1, 2, 3. So now we are going to make 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the last stitch. So insert your hook, insert your hook. So that's 1, 2, and then you make 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the last stitch. One, 2. So at this point our stitch count is at 5. So we chain 1 and turn our work. So now we are going to make 2 single crochets in the first stitch, then we make 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then we make 2 single crochets in the last stitch. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So now at the end of the row our stitch count is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we chain 1 and turn our work. So we make 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and then 2 single crochets in the last stitch. One, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Now our stitch count is at 9. Let's just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So for row 7, 8, and 9, we are going to make 9 single crochets across all the rows. Okay, so let's start with row 7. We make 1 single crochet in every single stitch across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we repeat the same thing for row 8 and 9. So at the end of row 9, our stitch count should still be at 9. So I'll meet you back here at the end of row 9. I've reached the end of row 9 and my stitch count is at 9. So we chain 1 and turn our work. So for row 10, we are going to make 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then we join the next 2 together. 1, 2, 3. So to join the 2 stitches together, we are going to insert our hook in the next stitch. We pull up a loop, insert in the next stitch, you pull through, you yarn over, then you pull through all 3. Okay, so chain 1 and then turn our work. For the next row, we are going to make 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then we join the last 2 together. 1, 2. Okay, now at the end of the row, our stitch count is at 3. So we chain 1 and turn our work. So now we are going to join the first 2 together, and then we make 1 single crochet in the last stitch. So at the end of the row, our stitch count is at 2. So we are going to chain 1 to secure and cut off our yarn here. So we have made our first little bump there. For the next one, we take our yarn again, make a slip knot. Once you've made your slip knot, you insert your hook in the very last stitch there. You insert it again in your slip knot, and then you pull through. You chain 1. So now we are going to make 3 single crochet. So 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then we join the next 2 together. So our first single crochet, we are going to make it in the very same stitch we made our chain 1. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So now we are going to join the next 2 together. As you can see, we have a stitch there that is unworked, and then the next one will be the one that we worked in for the first bump. So insert your hook in the unworked stitch, you pull through, and then you insert your hook in the work stitch, and then you pull through, and you pull through all 3. Okay, so chain 1 and turn your work. Now we are going to make 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then we join the last 2 together. 1, 2. Okay, so at the end of the row our stitch count is at 3. So we chain our work, and just like we did on this side, we are going to join the first 2 stitches together, and then we make the last single crochet in that last stitch. So at the end of the row our stitch count is at 2. Okay, so at this point we chain 1, we change hooks, we take our 2.5mm hook or any smaller size hook, then you work, and then you make 2 single crochets on top here, just to give your bump a nice rounded corner. So now we are making the edge. Continue to make single crochets around the whole heart. And you can hold down some of these tails as you go to hide them. So just continue to do that until this point here. So we'll meet back here at this point. So once you reach this point, you make one single crochet, then you chain 1 so you can give your heart a nice pointed look there. Then you make another single crochet in that very same hole there. Now for these edges, there are no real holes on the border, so just insert your hook anywhere that you feel like they can be something there. So just continue to make a border, and then you hold down this tail as you go to hide it. So continue to make your border, and we'll meet back here at this point to show you what to do next. Once you reach the top here, make a single crochet in that first stitch, then you make another one in the very same stitch to give your top a nice rounded edge. So continue down your heart to make the border, and hold down this tail here as you go, or you can leave it to hide it later. So I'm just going to hold mine down. Okay, so once you reach the middle here, insert your hook in that hole there in the middle. You pull through your yarn, and then you make it. Insert your hook in the hole, you pull your yarn through, your working yarn, and then you make a slip stitch. Okay, now you continue to make your border. Once you reach the top here, insert your hook in the first stitch and then you make a slip stitch. Okay, so there is our heart. We chain 1 to secure, and then we leave a long tail so that we can join the heart to the top. Now you can just go ahead and hide the tails at the back here. Then you join your heart to the top. Okay. Alright guys, this is what we have in the end. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to subscribe for more videos like this. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Please do check out part 2 of this baby set. I'll leave the link in the description box below like I mentioned before. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.